The globe is an ever-expanding blue-green ball. Possibly this ball of land and water is the only gifted planet with intelligent life and vibrant colors to live in. Liminex, Spain, an innovative and passionate company, thought of bringing these global philosophies of colors to everyday life and ignited a vibrant living. The journey started in 1989 in Spain, the epicenters of innovation, and today Laminex Spain is firmly established as a leading global brand of high-quality, high-pressure laminates spanning over 47 countries and 5 continents. UFC International thought of infusing these global characteristics into the minds of Indian customers. In the year 2011, we furnished a technical collaboration with Laminex Spain and launched our treasured brand Laminex India. UFC International has a legacy of more than 50 years in producing building materials. With this collaboration, we started producing high-pressure laminates in our 5 manufacturing units. Our quality exceeds industry standards and with unmatched brilliance. Today, in such a short span, we have more than 100 reputed dealer networks across the country to cater to every valued customer. Super excited with our successful venture of exterior cladding. We recently added WBC louvers and WPC deck to our umbrella to furnish to diversified customers. Excellent in the process and perfect in the creation, our valued products are weatherproof, termite-proof, fire retardant, antifungal and antibacterial, anti-aging, zero maintenance. Instead of focusing on the competition, we rather focus on client satisfaction. To match the expectation, our product comes with 12 years of guarantee and unconditional on-site replacement. Being a responsible and caring corporate citizen, we produce environment-friendly, ecological products, and on top of it, we donate our 5% profit for the well-being of stray animals. We invite cultured, stylish, and protected living. Laminex, protecting and beautifying your exterior.
So to begin with, my first question to all the panelists here. What are the most pressing real-time challenges faced in elevator maintenance, and how can industry stakeholders address them effectively? Starting with Krishna Kumarji, can we have your inputs?
My take on that is very simple. There is a dearth of skill, and skilled manpower is one of the most crucial aspects in handling maintenance. As the elevators are aging, there are old technology elevators in the market. I think the elevator companies need to constantly educate and train and ensure that their manpower is up to date, as well as they are able to handle older equipment. So that is my take on that. And apart from that, you have issues related to spare part availability, which is a very big concern, especially the older elevators. There is no clear-cut government policy on modernization across the country. So older elevators continue to be working still. So availability of spares, that is a very big challenge. Third, the amount of importance related to safety, that is what Mr. Rajnikant was also mentioning, which is a very crucial aspect. So it is not just about maintaining or about spare parts, it's about how much importance is given to safety. So these are the 3 important crucial things that I feel are the major concerns.
Thank you, sir, for sharing your views. Aditya, would you like to add into what sir has just said?
Yeah, thank you. Okay. So let me again divide this into a couple of points. I was just writing on the piece of paper. Number 1, your buildings, your infrastructure that's getting old, right? So when the infrastructure gets old, then it definitely gets a little troublesome to maintain the elevator systems and for any kind of modernization. That's because of several civil structural reasons that can cause hindrances. And an occupied building, definitely where the occupants are living, there are a lot of troubles that can be caused in the process of modernization, downtime and all other things. So that's number 1. Second, I would say is technological integration. There are a lot of new technologies that are coming in. There is AI that's jumping into the ecosystem now. That's AI for preventive maintenance and a lot of other things that's around the corner. But integrating all these things into the older elevators or the older products, that really becomes a challenge, right? Because sometimes it's just not possible. You have to replace the entire system. Third, if you talk about the compliances, which I also told in my individual presentation in my monologue, was that yes, there are a lot of legal acts, a lot of government compliances and governances that's coming into picture. But because there are multiple organizations involved, when you are operating into multiple cities or regions, so there's a different act and there's a different standard across different countries or different states for that matter also. So there's a different Haryana Lift Governance Act. There's a Bombay Lift Act, which is the mother of all the elevator acts of India. Then now UP is drafting its own act. So a lot of the minor tweaks which are different. So if this could all be on a single page, or they could, actually collaborate or make something which is on the same platform, it will be easier. Apart from this, to emphasize it individually, that in high traffic buildings, so for example, if it's in hospital, right now in a hospital, it'd be very, very difficult to shut down the elevator. If let's say in a hospital there are only 2 elevators or 3 elevators, right? So it gets very difficult the customers are always on your head that we need to get the maintenance done fast. We cannot afford a higher downtime. So we have our elevators installed in 5 stars also. So they are another kind of category that do not want too much of downtime and very specific time also. As my colleague mentioned earlier, skill. Definitely, the more I emphasize, the lesser it would be. That skill shortage is definitely there in the industry. We really need to, get the workshops in, get the trainings in, and we should have more manpower of this niche in India specifically. Another soft point, not really a soft point, but sustainability. So all of us are talking about, the climate change and a lot of things. Everybody is trying to be carbon zero. And if we talk about sustainability, yes, modernization is something that also brings in energy efficiency, or it makes your elevator environment friendly. And the customer nowadays has started thinking about it, specifically the big players. So if I talk about my individual case, specifically from Bombay, so our customers like Lodha, Piramal, Indiabulls, they specifically ask that, how can we really go about modernization that can further get into sustainability. But I think everybody would agree, the moment we share the cost becomes a very big hindrance into sustainable modernization. So they want that the product should be sustainable, but they are not ready to shed the cost for it. So that's the other point, that I think that's the last point of what I would share on this topic.
Thank you so much, Aditya, for sharing such in-depth facts. Moving on to Rajnikant ji, we would like to have your views as well.
Being in the safety field, I look from a totally different angle. See, most of the accidents are reported from the societies where the elevator may be installed by top leaders, multinationals, but the lifts are maintained by small contractors. That is why the accidents are there. And why they go to the small contractor? Because of the price difference. Societies are always having price points, and they don't go for the high payment, high service contracts. And they compromise on the safety and other things. That is why the accidents are taking place. If you analyze all the means, I have the records of last 10 years accidents where the elevator may be of Otis or Kone or Thyssen or any other multinational company. The accidents are there because the elevator is maintained by some local company. That is a fact, and we should not leave it. Now, how to handle it? Now, it is for the multinationals to see and work out the best possible solution. The price difference between their service contract value and the local person who is maintaining the elevator is say around 10 times more. So my suggestion means I am giving the suggestion to all my customers that whenever you finalize the order with the supplier, say OTs or whatever it may be, you ask for the life of the elevator. The salesperson will definitely say, sir, मेरा lift 10 साल तक चलेगा, 20 साल तक चलेगा, मेरा guarantee है. So that way you can trap them there and then ask for the 10 years or lifetime service contract. You finalize the service contract with the original supply contract and then rest assured of the services with the main supplier. See, when he negotiates for the new elevator, their profit or margin is very less because they know that all companies are working in the same price range. So they will not earn much more. They will try to earn during the service contract value only. There you can say that 30% is the expense and 70% is the margin. So they have to work out accordingly and reduce their service contract value or profit margin there and add service that supply profit more. And that can be done if they sit together, all these companies sit together and work out this plan. I think that will be the successful, means they will not be able to, the leap will not be able to go to the small vendors and the accidents can be avoided that way. That is how I look at it.
Thank you, Rajnikant ji, for sharing your views. Prabodh ji, would you like to add in?
Maintenance or modernization, refurbishment in the old buildings as we started this subject. Of course, it is a challenge. And many of my co-panelists mentioned that depending upon the installation, for example, if it is a hospital or a commercial establishment, it gets very difficult to put the lift out of service for a longer period of time because the users or the patients in the hospitals or other users of the lift in other establishments will feel the problem. Now, unfortunately, in the elevator industry, we have not learned the art of changing a tire in a running car. So if we can learn to change the tire in a running car, then of course, while the elevator is still working, you can change it. But figuratively speaking. Now, but again, we have to follow certain pit stop processes like they do in the Formula One. Now they are measuring the change, the overall inspection. All the tires are changing in few seconds, 7 seconds, 8 seconds. That's the kind of. So they have developed those processes. Definitely, the maintenance or the refurbishment or modernization of the elevator after 15, 20 years will be required. And naturally, those buildings will be old. So the industry has to stand up and devise safe. Mr. Lad would definitely say, where is the safety? So safe processes and systems to minimize the time of modernization, either through modular concepts. One of the concepts which we have done and implemented is you, instead of repairing certain things, you change the modules. For example, change the entire electrical module. It may cost a little bit extra, but the electrical and electronics, once the entire thing, like starting with the controller and the sensors and other things, then the mechanical part stays and nothing much goes wrong with the mechanical items, the guide rails and things. You change the electricals and you have the lift as good as new. That is one thing. And secondly, regarding the spares, every industry, every product has a life. We know that. And if the company is promising a 15-year service life of the product it has sold, then I think it is the responsibility of the company to maintain the commonly used service spares also in its inventory. Easier said than done, but there is no other way. The only other way will be to change the module. If the spares are not available, then you take that system out, that module out, and put a new one. Again, it's a matter of cost, who bears it, whether the company bears it or the client bears it. But in order to put the lift functional, either you keep a spare part inventory or change the whole module. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabodh for answering that. Prabodh, I have another question for you. What design trends are emerging in the elevator aesthetics, and how these trends can reflect the broader architectural preferences and styles?
Well, elevator till 10 years back, I would say more or less, was seen as a facility or as a vehicle for vertical mobility. And elevator was just an elevator. Today, particularly in homes or hotels or banquet halls or such places, elevator is not only a means of vertical mobility, it also becomes a part of the building interiors. It, as per some architectural or interior designers' requirements, to the extent that the design theme which they have on the walls of a lift lobby of a hotel, or they want the same design theme to run inside the elevator walls also. So, because they consider lift, of course, it will provide vertical mobility, but it has to be, uh, it should not stand out as an eyesore. You know, one has spent millions of rupees into the interiors, and the lift is just as an eyesore. So, what we are experiencing, that designer lifts, customization of the designs is definitely gaining a lot of traction in the market, which started with about 10% of the market going for that because they are expensive. Now, almost 50-60% of the elevators, at least which we sell, are on the designer side. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your perspective on elevator designs. Moving on to Rajnikant my next question to you. So as we move towards the smarter building and interconnected systems, how do you ensure the integration of elevator systems with the other technologies?
See, nowadays we have got a building with so many, means multi-purpose building, like one building having a hospital also inside, or some offices and residential things. So the configuration of the building of the elevator should be such that it should cater to all the people, and during emergency, it should be able to save all the passenger users' life. Now, see, you have the parking system at 1 or 2 or 3 floors. Then you have commercial offices, and then you have residential buildings. Sometimes you have swimming pool at the top. So all these things you have to consider while designing the building. Now, this is the part of the design part, particularly the architect who has to design the building, he has to consider all these things. So that in case of emergency, lift can be properly used and the people can be evacuated. That should be the main motto behind designing the elevator. It should not be that you आदमी बराबर time से ऊपर तक पहुंच जाए building में अपने floor तक पहुंच जाए. In case of emergency, the person should be able to reach to the ground floor in a minimum possible time. Now, this for the maintenance point of view also, you have to see that the things are maintained properly. Now the artificial intelligence is there, then predictive maintenance is also coming. So you have to have all these predictive maintenance records. You can predict when the ropes is going to break, or when the pulley is going to burn out, or when the motor is going to burn, or the bearing is going to make noise. All these things, you have the transducer placed at all the places. You get the report of all these things and then analyze the things, get the things timely attended, and keep the elevator running throughout the time.
Thank you, Rajnikant for sharing your views. Now that you have mentioned that the lifts and elevators are modernized and they are integrated with a lot of technologies, but there are chances or times where the power supply is not sufficient for the elevators to work. So my question to Krishna Kumarji, how do you think the renewable energy sources can be integrated into elevator systems so that the dependency on the traditional power grids it's reduced and it also enhances sustainability?
Thank you. This is actually a very interesting question. I will divide it into two parts. One is renewable energy, and second thing is how it is used in the elevators. Energy per se is not so simple. The energy is of course free. The second part and the third part of that is very, very difficult. One is how are you going to harness that energy? When you harness that energy, how are you going to convert that into usable power? So these two things are a very big subject, but nevertheless, these are very critical aspects. Now, coming to how are we going to use this in the elevators, I just want to give you a brief that already there are elevators that use renewable energy. There are elevators that work on solar power, already available in the market. But the matter of fact is, they are not for large buildings. They're all for generally residences or small buildings, because the power requirement for heavy, high capacity, high speed elevators is much, much higher. The second thing is we already have regenerative drives available in the elevators. Now the question arises, how is the regenerative drive going to be useful? There are no clear-cut policies for integrating or using this power and sending it back to the grid. So under these circumstances, there has to be a broader level policy on how renewable energy is going to be used in the elevators. But nevertheless, it is a very big subject and research is still on. And I'm sure in the coming future, large companies would be investing a lot of their money in these sustainable products. And we can for sure see a couple of new products being launched in the near future.
And thank you for sharing your insights on renewable energy sources. They were very thought-provoking. Moving on to Aditya, my question to you is, what measures do you believe are essential for enhancing both reliability and safety in vertical transportation infrastructure?
It's basically a very multi-dimensional kind of an approach. Not just one thing fixes it all. So you can talk about technology, you can talk about maintenance, the design, and the governance regulation. As I've said, I will roam around these pillars which I've been through and through in your today's session. Maintenance, as I've emphasized earlier, that your routine checks, your preventive maintenance, they are the multivitamins for your elevator. Do that, number one. The different safety systems that are involved. I would also like to mention over here. So never on a single platform, all these things I've mentioned, but a modern day elevator which you're using, there are multiple safety features in it. So there is a overspeed governor, which is your safety thing. Then there are limit switches, which is again providing safety. There are intercoms and alarm systems. Why am I specifying all this over here is so that you know that there are a lot of safeties in the elevator. And as Mr. Lad said, that accidents are not highly charged, but you have to take care. And these all are checked in a preventive maintenance. Your overload, so that there's no overloading. There are buffer springs in case of an emergency accident. There is a fireman switch, and of course there is an automatic rescue device. So when the light pops out and somebody is in the elevator, if the ARD is there, then there's nothing to worry about. The lift comes to the nearest landing and it opens up, and the passenger can come out easily and safely, right? So that's another thing. Technology, as I said, so a lot of technology innovations are involved. So there are smart sensors, there are different type of controller systems, predictive controller systems, remote controller systems. So all these things actually help in reducing the chances, I would say, and giving you a better altogether customer experience. Governance and standard regulations, as I said earlier, nothing to repeat over here, that they only make you more secure. It's a double check. Design. Now that's a very important this thing. What happens is in today's date, as I believe Mr. Kumar just mentioned earlier, Prabodh, that design and aesthetics is coming. Now I'm talking about the aesthetic part of it as well. So that's really coming into play right now. and people are getting, they're developing a very good taste for interiors and everything. But the company should not only be focusing on the aesthetic design. अगर आपकी लिफ्ट में एक ऊपर लाइट लगी है, शैंडिलियर लगा है जो दिखने में बेहद खूबसूरत है, लेकिन लिफ्ट को अगर 15 साल चलना है और 10वें साल पे लेट्स से देयर इज अ एआरडी, और जब भी रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन होता है देयर इज अ स्लाइट जर्क इन द एलिवेटर, अगर उस जर्क से वन फाइन डे व्हाट इज द रेजिस्टेंस स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ द जॉइंट्स दैट आर होल्डिंग इट, और वो शैंडिलियर किसी के ऊपर गिर जाए, सो इट्स गोना बी अ सेफ्टी हैजर्ड. जो लिफ्ट खरीदते समय कोई नहीं सोचेगा और जिसको कोई मतलब नहीं होगा, बट इट कैन हैपन ओनली वंस, बट दैट वंस कम्स एट अ ग्रेट कॉस्ट. सो बहुत केयरफुल रहना है डिजाइन के साथ, राइट? एस्थेटिक्स को कभी भी सेफ्टी के ऊपर नहीं लेके जाना. दैट्स द बेसिक प्रिंसिपल, राइट? योर स्ट्रक्चरल डिजाइन शुड बी रोबस्ट, रेस्ट एवरीथिंग इज फाइन. डेफिनेटली जो भी एनवायरमेंटल स्ट्रेसेस होते हैं, जैसे Delhi is a very different geography, and Mr. Lad, जहाँ बॉम्बे में रहते हैं, that's a very different geography. वहाँ पे sea breeze है, corrosion ज्यादा है. वहाँ पे किस कैटेगरी का स्टेनलेस स्टील यूटिलाइज कर सकते हैं, which is there. यहाँ पे क्या कर सकते हैं? So there's a lot of design considerations that can be actually pondered upon. ट्रेनिंग बहुत जरूरी है. ट्रेनिंग एंड अवेयरनेस इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट. योर ऑपरेटिंग, योर ऑपरेटर्स ट्रेनिंग, योर सर्विस इंजीनियर्स ट्रेनिंग, पब्लिक अवेयरनेस शुड बी देयर. लोगों को एजुकेट करना दैट व्हाट एग्जैक्टली हैज टू बी डन. जैसे कि बताया गया कि रॉन्ग रेस्क्यू सिस्टम्स की वजह से कई बार प्रॉब्लम होती है. दैट्स अ वेरी वैलिड पॉइंट, यू नो. इमरजेंसी प्रिपेयर्डनेस होनी चाहिए. देयर शुड बी, आई आल्सो बिलीव दैट देयर शुड बी सिमुलेशन ड्रिल्स एज वेल, कि जो अगर कोई एलिवेटर, सो जो उस विसिनिटी का कोई लोकल designated individual should carry on a simulation drill that just in case if something happens, what has to be done. And data analysis feedback is also a part of it, कि भाई what exactly is happening, what is the data that we are getting in from the market and the product, ये सबको कैसे करना है. ये सारी चीजों को आप मिक्स करो, जार में घुमाओ, you will get a good set as to how the reliability and the safety of the elevators can be improved. That's about it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aditya, for explaining us it in a better way and a simpler language. Moving on to Mr. Prabodh. IQ and HVAC is a topic that our customers or the common people, are concerned about. So when it comes to elevators, according to you, how can ventilation solutions be tailored into some specific environments such as high-rise buildings or underground installations to overcome such any challenges in regards to ventilation? What is your view about it?
As far as ventilation in the elevators are concerned, every elevator, irrespective, they have the blowers, they have the ventilation. So no elevator is designed or manufactured or installed without a ventilation system. And I think the surroundings, because the elevator runs in a shaft, and there is a free flow of air, circulation of air within the cabin of the elevator. So the ventilation is always there. In very special applications like deep mines or something where there are I think the system design would require special ventilation systems. But then they are specific to that installation or to that situation or to that application. But normally what the elevators we are used to, we use and we sell and all of. So they have their own ventilation systems.
Prabodh, thank you so much for answering that. Coming back to Rajnikant ji, looking ahead, what future technological innovations do you foresee playing a pivotal role in elevator safety standards or in the auditor practice industry?
Safety people or the people who are making the IS and all that, they are continuously working. There are new laws came last year into practice, and then still they are working for some new laws. So all these are considering safeties and performance and customers' requirements. So I think that will make the best of it, but it's a continuous thing. We may come across some new things, and then development checks and cross checks are required for that. So we can't say at present anything on that, but the things are continuously progressing and the things are continuously developing.
Thank you, Rajnikant ji, for answering that. Krishna Kumar ji, my next question is to you. What role do IoT and connectivity play in enabling predictive maintenance and real-time monitoring of elevator performance?
This IoT is not very new. Maybe the terminology IoT is very current, but the history says that, about 30 years back, companies like Otis and Mitsubishi had connected elevators. They may not have used 4G or 5G. They were connecting their elevators using TCP/IP. So they had a dial-up network. So the elevators were connected through a TCP/IP network and through a telephone line, and they were able to monitor the elevator remotely. But however, as technology started improving and the new mobile technology started coming, now the elevators are better connected. And the transfer of information is faster, and you can transfer more information over a smaller bandwidth. So that is what the technology has done. Earlier, between the event and the information being passed, it used to take a longer time because of the bandwidth issues. Now the bandwidth is faster, so any event or incident in the elevator system can be instantaneously transferred to the command and control center. Now, coming to the IoT per se, the fact remains that there has to be a lot of transparency in the elevator companies providing IoT related services. Transparency, and there should be a policy level. I'm talking about policies everywhere because there are no policies available here. Nobody controls these things. So there has to be some kind of a transparency and a level of ownership and responsibility with the elevator companies who are providing these services, so that the end user gets the full benefit of having invested in that system, because the system is not coming free. The beneficiary is, of course, both. I would say the bigger beneficiary would be an elevator company, because he is able to provide a better customer service and satisfaction, while the customer gets a seamless elevator function. And I think the elevator company should take responsibility of that and ensure their predictive maintenance is seamless, transparent, and I think without any glitches. That's my take on that.
Thank you, sir, for addressing the role of IoT in elevator systems. That was quite informative. Moving on to my last question to Aditya. Aditya, can you enlighten us with some of the latest innovative strategies or technologies that are available in the market for energy efficiency, both for existing and new installations?
I would like to start with the very point that Mr. Krishna Kumar just mentioned, IoT. So IoT, yes, it has been there for the last 30 years, but it's been improving with 4G, 5G coming in, a lot of things, and this actually forms a very smart grid. So smart gridding is possible with IoT, which is more efficient use of multiple elevators in one building, or even for that matter, an individual elevator system. There are also smart meters coming in. So they provide your real-time energy usage data, right? So that's another point. Recently at one of our projects in Bombay, Lodha Park, there have been that's an example of building automation system. So when building automation system kicks in, so again, the entire ecosystem of an infrastructure is combined into one software, and the monitoring is much better, and the energy management systems come into place. So that's another point that that really can be considered over here. Apart from that, there are different ventilator systems, there are refrigerator flow systems. So let's say there is VRS systems, that's variable refrigerator flow. Yeah, that's one thing that also helps in the precise heating and cooling of different building zones, so your elevator can definitely get impacted into it. Apart from, if I go into the mumbo jumbos of it, it's a lot of scientific engineering terms. So basics, solar panels, your renewable energy source. जब energy ही एक renewable source से आ रही है तो sustainability वैसे ही आ जाएगी. So if you're utilizing solar energy, you are doing the job well. अब उसी के अंदर as small as जो आपकी lights लगी हैं lift के अंदर, अगर वो LEDs हैं, you are again doing the good part. Aesthetic lights होती हैं, वो भी आजकल बहुत अच्छी LEDs में आती हैं. You get the aesthetics as well as the lighting as well as sustainability. So that's another thing that's there. And apart from that, there are टेक्नोलॉजिकल एडवांसमेंट्स इन एलिवेटर. जैसे रीजनरेटिव ड्राइव होती है, तो जितनी बार एलिवेटर ऊपर नीचे जा रही है उसकी एनर्जी जो प्रोड्यूस हो रही है उसको एनर्जी स्टोर करके बाद में यूटिलाइज किया जा सकता है. जैसे हाइब्रिड कार्स आ रही हैं आजकल, दैट्स एन एग्जांपल ऑफ सस्टेनेबिलिटी जो आपका सवाल है. सो इस तरीके की चीजें हैं व्हिच आर देयर एंड कुछ ना कुछ नया आता रहता है एवरी डे इन द मार्केट. वी आल्सो कीप ऑन अपग्रेडिंग आवर information and knowledge for our customers. So that's about it. That's what comes to my mind at this instance.
Thank you so much, Aditya, for updating us with the latest technological advancements available in the elevator industry.
अरे लंच बॉक्स भूल गए. और ये कहाँ से लगवा लिया?
कहाँ गए तुम्हारे महंगे हीरो हीरोइन के लेमिनेशन वाले और डस्ट प्रूफ पेंट?
तुम तो शर्मा जी के घर के जैसी टाइल्स लगवाने वाले थे. अगर टूट कर तुम्हारे सर पर गिर जाती तो?
मैंने तो आपको पहले ही रिकमेंड किया था.
HPL लेमिनेक्स शीट की कोई वारंटी है?
बिल्कुल. या तो बार बार घर को पेंट करवाइए या एक बार लेमिनेक्स लगवाइए, उसके बाद पूरे 25 साल तक नो पेंट का टेंशन, नो फ्रस्ट्रेशन.
चलेगा?
दौड़ेगा.
Protecting and beautifying exteriors. Laminex, HPL sheets and WPC louvers.